Hi guys, it's time for the part 2 of the best cards to use with the new promo card. This time it's the Death Edition. If you haven't seen it when we did the video of the best life cards to use with the new promo card, the video is going to be above here. And if you've been enjoying the content, remember to like the video and subscribe for more playtime content. And let's get into it. Like always, before we get into our top 3, we're going to give you an honourable mention card to use with the new promo strategy. And for this one, it's going to be the Shadowy Presence. They come with the strength and inspire, but they don't start with anything at the beginning. But let's break down the card and why you might possibly want to use it as a new promo card. So let's get into the pros of the Shadowy Presence. He buffs up the whole team. If you think about it, his abilities are support everybody. He does well in melee focused teams, considering he's got Inspire, so he'll be helping the reach monsters, the tanks, the opportunities and the sneak monsters. So he's a great card in that aspect. And for 1 mana, he does so much. If you think about it, of the other 1 mana cards that we have, even though he don't attack, in the strategy that we're going to have here, he'll be having magic and range. So he'll be doing great things all around, and you can definitely build an interesting team around him. And he's a great support card for low mana. If you're thinking about throwing in cards, he's definitely a good throw in, considering he's just going to help all your melee monsters, and he'll be taking away 1 life from all the pesky monsters on the opponent's board. Some of the cons of the Shadowy Presence is it's kind of slow for having a range attack, and it's definitely going to be missing. And there's definitely going to be better cards to use for the combo with the promo, considering its stats and abilities don't really help as much considering other cards that we could be using. And it forces you to use a melee focused team, and that's great and all, but it don't allow you to have more versatility in your team building. Some of the good rule types you want to be using this card in is definitely reverse speed. Considering it's got 1 speed, it will definitely be going off and attacking first, and then the range damage will definitely be good there. And the other ones are going to be ones like Super Sneak and Opportunity. For the sheer fact it's got Inspire, and it boosts up all your melee monsters, and these rule types allow your melee monsters to attack from anywhere, so it'll be a great pairing for 1 mana. Some of the bad rule types for this card, there's nothing really outstanding for it when it comes to bad rule types, but Back to Basics is definitely going to be one of them. Considering it's an ability heavy card, and if we're not going to use it in a combo, it won't have any attack. And in Back to Basics, we don't have weapons training to be able to give it any attack anyway. So it's just going to be useless in that aspect, and a lot of the cards that don't have any attack will definitely be not used in Back to Basics, and it'll be one flaw in all of them. But this is why I was an honourable mention card, so let's get into the top 3 cards in depth you'll definitely want to be using with the promo card. So let's get into our third choice, Duskblight. This is going to be a card you're definitely going to be using because it's the only other card with weapons training to allow us to have 2 types of damage on a non-attacking monster. It starts off with weapons training at bronze, then it gets Fury, and then it gets Resurrect in gold. It's going to be a great card considering the new legendary card, Astral Entity, has Resurrect, so it allows us to have 2 Resurrects on the board. So let's get into the pros and cons of this card, Duskblight. So let's break down Duskblight, starting with the cons. It'll allow you to put 2 magic on a non-attacking monster with weapons training, which is amazing considering magic is one of the strongest magic damage types in the game. And it allows you to put 2 types of damage on a non-attacking card, obviously with the strategy of the new promo. And it's definitely going to be kind of meta in the future, maybe in high mana games. And the Resurrection is definitely going to be handy. And considering the new legendary summoner that came out for Death, Astral Entity, you can now have double Resurrects. And considering Marty is rather meta right now, you can now have 3 Martys on 1 card because of the double Resurrect. And that allows Death to be so strong. And it's got good stats all round anyway, so even with weapons training it can be putting out damage itself, and it can be living it as well. Some of the cons for the card is it's kind of slow, and Fury is kind of situational because people don't necessarily always play taunt cards, and in the mirror match Death only really has 1 taunt card and it's not going to be played often. And a new magic weapon training card in Death could definitely take its place down the line, considering the Fury is very situational, and situational things don't work well in Splinterlands too much. But it's going to be the card you've got to use for getting magic onto non-attacking monsters. Some of the go-to rule types you're going to be playing this card is reverse speed, because like I said, it's a very slow card, but it will definitely do good in that rule type there. And another 2 that you might not think about is Holy Protection. because considering it's got Resurrect, it will allow the monster to have an extra Divine Protection. And another one's going to be Poison, because once a monster is resurrected, it's not poisoned no more. So it's a great way to get around that there. Some of the bad rule types for this card is definitely going to be Opportunity, considering it's got quite a low health and it's in the backline. It could definitely be prone for that. And another one's going to be Flying, because it can't necessarily take damage over time. And considering you want it to be giving damage to your non-attacking monster, you definitely want to be keeping it alive. And this is why it's my third choice, because it's not necessarily a great card, but it's going to be a card you've got to use in a strategy, so it had to be in the video somewhere. Let's get into our number 2 pick, Will-O-Wisp. It starts off with Flying and Recon, which is great. And then later down the line it gets Silence, which is minus magic, which is definitely going to be great pairing with Thaddeus. And you got Blind. And if you see the combination of all these abilities, it's definitely going to be a great card, and it's definitely going to be so good. And at max level, look at that life. But let me fully break down the card and why it's our number 2 pick to use in the promo. So let's fully break down Will-O-Wisp and why it's a number 2 choice to use with the new promo card. It's a great pair with Thaddeus alone. You have -2 magic on the board. If you can find a bit of void with on a tank, you can definitely lock out your opponent from doing any damage. And when it gets into first position, it's going to be so hard to hit. With the combination of Flying and Blind, it's definitely going to be hard for the melee and ranged cards to be attacking this card. And considering how much health it has, it's definitely going to be an impossible feat to win a game. And it's a great support card all round. Considering it gives Recon and minus magic, it can definitely do so many things, and it's definitely a versatile card. And if you look at its health, it's so tanky for the amount of mana it is. And it's definitely going to be great either at the back, using as a sneak target, or in the first position, using the new combo that we're trying to talk about today. When it comes to the cons of this card, nothing really stands out, apart from it's not really offensive, it's more defensive. And it's not really great in bronze and silver, and it gets a lot better golden up. But it's a great card in the combo that we want to do here, considering it's quite fast, and you can pair it up with a Thaddeus to do so much more things, and your team could just do so much for the little combination that we want to do here. So I'm going to go to rule types I'm going to be using this card. It's definitely Earthquake, considering it's got the Flying ability, it won't be taking any damage. And another one's going to be Scattershot, considering the range card will be missing with the Blind and the Flying attached to this card here. And another one's going to be Super Sneak, because if you have it at the back with the Flying, most of the sneak monsters are going to be melee, so they're going to be missing quite a lot. When it comes to the bad rule types, like with all the non-attacking monsters, if they lose their abilities, they're going to be very bad. So back to basics is going to be another one attached to all these cards. And reverse speed is going to be another one, considering how fast the card is. And max health is going to be one of the worst rule types for this card, considering how low mana it is and how much health it has. The opponent's low mana monsters will thus becoming so healthy, and it'll be hard to get over the team. But this is why it's a number 2 choice, because it's a great card all round, and if you give it some attack on top, it's definitely going to be doing so much offense along with so much defense for your team. But let's get into number 1 choice and the best card you want to be using in the new promo, and maybe your number 1 card you want to be upgrading soon. We talked about some great cards to use with the new promo card, and now we're going to talk about the best card to use with it. Riffing is our number 1 choice. It starts out with Flying and Salvage, which is a great combo straight from the beginning. And then later down the line it gets Backfire, which is going to be the key thing we're going to be talking about today when it comes to this card. And if you don't know about how overpowered this card is once it gets Backfire, you need to be upgrading it really soon. And then later down the line it gets Headwind, which is a nice ability to have, but in reality the combination between Flying and Backfire is going to be the key thing we're talking about here. And let's get into the full breakdown of our number 1 choice, Riffing. So let's get into the full breakdown of Riffing, our number 1 choice to use the new promo card. It's so hard to hit. I don't know if you ever tried to hit this card, but it's such a pain. Like the combination of the speed and the Flying, and then if you do get the Headwind down the line, your range cards are going to be missing all over the place. And it starts getting great in silver and up, because it starts getting more of its speed and more of its abilities. And then Backfire. This card, when it gets Backfire, is so overpowered, because like I said, it's hard to hit this card as it is, so imagine every time you miss it, you're doing damage to yourself. and it's the best card to use when it comes to the combo that we're trying to do today with the promo, considering the offense it can give with the defense that it has, and then give it magic and range damage on top, and considering it's fast, the range damages are going to be good here because it actually hitting people. But I don't know if you've ever won or lost to a backfire riffing before. It's one of the most satisfying wins to have, because you're just watching every time they miss, they're just dying over time. Some of the cons for this card is there's not much I can really think of, apart from it's not so great in bronze, but it's still alright in bronze, but it don't stand out so well. Some of the good rule types for Riftring is definitely going to be Earthquake, considering it's got the flying ability, it won't be taking no damage there, and that's just an obvious one. And max health is going to be another one, considering it's got salvage, it could definitely be gaining more health over time, and then when backfire's happening, it's just getting stronger, considering it's not attacking anybody unless we're doing it with the combo that we're doing today. And another one's going to be Scattershot, because it's fast, it's got flying, and if you do get a headwind with it, the range cards in Scattershot are going to be missing it all the time. Some of the bad rule types for this card is definitely going to be reverse speed, because as we've been talking so much about cards missing it, it's going to be very slow, and it's going to be like not attacking, and FP monsters are going to be hitting it so hard. And considering it's not got much life, it has good life but not much. If it does get focused and does get hit, it could just die and it won't be doing the things that we want. And with all the non-attacking cards, back to basics is going to be attached to it obviously, because stripping of its abilities, it'll be just sitting there taking up your mana cap. But this is a great card, and if you're not upgraded your Riftring to have backfire yet, you need to do that today, because it's a great card to have in your arsenal. But this is our breakdown of like the best death card you can use with the new promo card. In the comments below, let me know what you think, and if you think there's any other better card that you could use. And remember to like the video and subscribe for more playtime content, and we'll see you next time.